the idea of it, when you look at the sequence of the protocol, is we're basically taking, we're going through the liver from the left side all the way left lateral, and then we're gonna come all the way right lateral, then we're gonna come along the costal margin all the way to the right side, and we're gonna go all the way up superior to inferior to the kidney. Then we're gonna go back transverse, go all the way up superior to the left side, then start to come down inferior, and then we'll move to the right side, come superior, and then inferior. And then you guys will be doing the common bile duct on the liver, and then when we go to the gallbladder, you'll do the common bile duct and the common hepatic duct again. So you're gonna be doing the duct twice, okay? And it's just to get you guys in the practice. They're both part of the protocol. So before you start snapping pictures, what is it that I tell you guys that I like for you to do?
Survey.
Survey. I like it for being so, and this machine does not have a focus, but for the most part on all the other machines, since they have a focus, the newer equipment does it, keep your focal zone in the far field for the liver, because that's the deepest structure. For the gallbladder, you want it at the level of the gallbladder or below your focal zone, all right? So I'm gonna do a survey to see how well I can see. Take a deep breath and hold it. I'm gonna go all the way to the left. Breathe. And so the jelly. I could see her gallbladder, so that's good.
Oh my gosh, she must be starving.
She's fasting. And then now I'm gonna go transverse, take a deep breath. And there's the heart, and I'm gonna come down. Go to the right side, and I'm gonna do the same. Kidney. All right, so I just did a quick survey to kind of see, did anything pop out at me, breathe, that I, as I surveyed through. I recommend that you always do that on every organ that you're scanning. Doesn't have to take a long time. If something catches your eye, you can interrogate it a little bit, but when you get to that point that you need to look and confirm if you see something or not.
That was a fly or something.
Okay, first image is, we're gonna have to turn this off. I can't see, that's okay. Oh, look. Okay, first image is left lateral lobe. So you guys are familiar with the second image. Will you just take care of that? This is gonna be how the afternoon ends, is with the aorta. But for the left lateral, think of what that means. If we're at the level of the aorta, there's a lot of liver to the left of it, so the left of your patient. So if my aorta is here, I'm gonna scan all the way left lateral out of the liver and then come back in that sequence. So the first one should kind of look like a triangle, and the aorta should not be in your image. You wanna be past to the left of the aorta. Take a deep breath. So there's her aorta. And I'm gonna keep scanning all the way out. There's all the way to the stomach. So I'm gonna come back and kind of see how it kind of looks like a triangle here. And this would be my left lateral lobe. See all this kind of like triangular shape. Keep in mind though, everyone's liver shape is different. Sometimes you have she has a pretty deep, sometimes it's really long, okay? If you have a very long left lobe that goes all the way inferior here, which would be equivalent to inferior here, then show me the superior part, because there's a lot more liver than just like a tiny little tip, okay? So this would be, what's right here? So I'm just under the xiphoid process, and one more time, take a deep breath. So here's my aorta. I'm gonna keep scanning all the way to the left past it, come back. There would be my left lateral, and of course all my comments. Now I'm gonna do aorta. That should be familiar for you guys. Take a deep breath. So we're looking at the liver. That's the objective at the level of the aorta. So I do want my aorta to be, you know, documented pretty crisp, but it's not my center of focus. I'm just showing the liver at that level. So here's my left lobe of the liver. Okay, here's my aorta. And that would be image 2. Next is the caudate lobe. Okay, so I went from lateral, there's my aorta, and when I'm looking for the caudate lobe, that's the medial aspect of the liver. I'm gonna look on this posterior part. This should be familiar to you guys. A lot of these might be familiar because in the intro protocol in the fall, we took many of these same pictures. So I'm gonna look for my caudate lobe, and I'm gonna get the caudate lobe in between the aorta and the IVC. Take a big breath and hold it. So here's my aorta, there's my caudate, there's IVC, so I'm gonna go back. She doesn't have a super large caudate. Breathe. So here's my ligament venosus, and then here's my caudate lobe. Can you guys see that? You guys can stop me or let me know if you have any questions as I'm going through these. I don't want to go too slow, but I also I want to make sure that I covered everything. All right, this is the third image is left right lobe with the IVC. So remember, we're gonna keep rocking to the right side of the patient's body, and I want to see the left lobe here more anterior, and the right lobe will start coming in posterior to the IVC. Take a breath and hold it. See the IVC coming in, and breathe normal. And she's a little gassy there, so. Can you see, here's the right lobe, here's diaphragm, here's some of the right lobe, here's left lobe, and there's IVC. I'm gonna do that one more time, see if I can see it a little better. But you wanna get all of this superior border, okay, included, and then as much of the right lobe that you can see. Her IVC is a little bit more to the left. So some people you'll see a lot more right lobe, and some people you see a little bit less depending on the position of the IVC. Does this picture sound familiar to you guys?
Yeah.
Or look familiar, I guess I should say. Take a little breath. That's pretty good. All right, next we're going to do the right lobe, gallbladder, right portal vein, and main lobar fissure. So this objective is, I'm gonna start angling all the way to the right. I might move slightly to the right. All of those landmarks, the gallbladder, main lobar fissure, portal vein, that's not your center of focus. Your focus is the right lobe of the liver. So I'm gonna take a deep breath. I'm gonna increase my depth till I get all the way to the diaphragm like I see here. And then I want to demonstrate this nice crisp view of the right lobe at that level. Notice how I have gallbladder, portal. I can't see her main lobar fissure, but that's okay. That's not my main focus. I'm taking the right lobe, nice crisp clear border here, superior, and it's pretty even from top to bottom, right? And that's gonna be your main objective there. So whenever you start to kind of go, what should I be taking? Think about what the comment says and what the objective is. Okay, so we got gallbladder, portal vein, main lobar fissure. Those are the landmarks. And you'll notice that in the protocol, in the class, in the book, and also at clinical, they don't put all of these landmarks. I have you guys do it because you're help building muscle memory to help you know, like, at what stages am I taking representative images? As I'm sweeping from the left to the right, I'm evaluating the liver the whole time, but I'm taking representative images at certain points, and that helps guide you to know that you're doing a full protocol, okay? So don't get hyper-focused just on the gallbladder or the portal. Remember, it's the liver at that level. Next is, I've swept all the way to the kind of right. I've used this window, but now I'm gonna come down her right costal margin. And the next one is the kidney-liver interface. Okay, so I'm gonna come inferior costal margin here. The top of my probe is slightly going to angle towards the back. Okay, I don't want it to come medial. So when I come down the costal margin, I like to say change directions, the top of the probe, because that's how the kidney's positioned. So this image has a lot of objectives. You're looking at a different part of the right lobe. You're looking at the inferior part, how the size of the liver. You're looking at the echogenicity to compare it to the right lobe of the right kidney cortex, and that helps you know whether the liver is too bright, maybe fatty, or if there's a disease process. And also we're seeing Morson's pouch here, so we can see if there's ascites or any fluid buildup. So it's a really valuable window to document a lot of information. Take a deep breath. I'm going to use my diaphragm always as a landmark to know that I'm I have as much as liver as possible. If I'm cutting it off, I don't see it, you need to increase the depth. If I have too much space, I don't want that. I'm going to do that pleural space on another image. So this one, we want a crisp interface to compare the echogenicity. Breathe. And we can kind of see real nice here. So this is the kidney-liver interface. And right kidney, and you can put interface. Any questions so far? Nope, it's all making sense so far? Okay, good. So now we're going to do the pleural space. So this is where I'm going to increase my depth. Not only am I going to do the pleural space and see what's superior to the diaphragm, but also I want to see the superior part of the liver. So I can come through two windows. I can come up intercostal. This probe is a little large. Take a little breath. Okay, and I'm kind of angled up superior. And I'm going to crank my gain up a little bit. This is pleural space here. This is the superior part of the liver. Or if you have a pretty easy patient, I like to come a little bit more subcostal, come up a little higher, and then I'm coming at a steep angle when they take a deep breath. Take a deep breath, and I'm angling. If I see gallbladder, I'm still at the mid-level. I want to go all the way up. Notice how I barely have any landmarks. I don't see the portal vein. I don't see the gallbladder. That means I'm getting all the way up to the superior part of the liver. So my probe is really steeply angled. I don't want to be transverse. I'm slightly at an angle underneath the subcostal margin, but I'm pushing, angling up real superior. And when she takes a deep breath, it's coming into my field of view. Okay, so here I've got a mirror image of the liver because there's no fluid. All right, but I want to be deep enough to see this pleural space to show there's no ascites here, okay, diaphragmatic or supra in the pleural space. And also I'm looking at the superior part of the liver. So let's see, right lobe, and I think it says pleural space, if I'm reading correctly. All right, that's all of my sagittal images. Now we're gonna move on to the transverse images, and I'm gonna go back to the midline. Sorry, I know this is cold. Isn't it? That means it's working so quickly. So I'm gonna turn transverse, and your first image is right and left lobe hepatic veins. This should be pretty familiar to you guys, right? So the hepatic veins are way superior. If I'm transverse, in order to catch right and left lobe, I'm gonna slightly go oblique because I wanna catch a little left lobe and a little right lobe. And I'm gonna angle all the way up superior towards the heart. Take a deep breath. And then I'm gonna start to come down. Your first structures that you see are going to be your hepatic veins. So all the way to the heart, then I come down. If I'm too transverse, I can't see this posterior right lobe. So I have to go oblique in order to catch all three of those hepatic veins. And, where'd you go? So we've got posterior right, anterior right, medial left, lateral left. Okay.
Did you move the probe down or did you angle it down away from the
I
heart?
slightly
Just
came
slide it
down, but you're angling superior
Angling up.
because you're angling all the way up to where the hepatics are dumping in. So you have to angle up very superior. Transverse. Right, left. Hepatic veins. Next is going to be the caudate lobe. So this protocol is fairly sequential from all the way superior to inferior. Take a deep breath. So when I'm on my hepatic veins, I start to come inferior, and I will see my caudate lobe anterior to the IVC here. There's two things I want to get in this objective. I want to show as much of the left lateral lobe and transverse. This is left, this is right. So I want as much as the left lateral lobe, and then my caudate lobe here in transverse. This is my ligament venosum. Many of you guys will ask me the technique. I mean, if you come from superior and start to come inferior, also I want you to think of the same technique that you guys use for prox aorta. Okay, it's a very similar window and approach to get that. If you see liver, right lobe of the liver, show right lobe of the liver. If this liver extends way far lateral left, you might have to scoot your probe to the left of their body and you might lose a little bit of this, but depending on the shape of their liver will depend on how much you see on this right side, okay? So the main objective is the caudate and the left lateral, but if I can see liver, I'm gonna show liver, and I'm gonna even that out a little bit and adjust that. So, this is left. Did you say that? Yeah. Yeah. I just wanna make sure I have it labeled properly. Okay, from this point, I'm gonna start to angle my probe more inferior, and I'll start to see the left portal vein. The left portal vein, you'll see it's long view, so it looks vertical on your image, and it's pretty thick, all right? So it's vertical on your image, but this is anterior and this is posterior. It actually comes front to back in the body, the way the left portal does, okay? That's why we see it when we're in transverse, it's kind of coming at an angle towards us. So it runs horizontal, but it's at an angle front to back. That's why we see it going vertical. So I'll show you what that looks like. Take a deep breath. So here's my hepatic veins. There's my caudate lobe, and I'm gonna keep my eye focused here. And see this large, bright walled structure here? This is my left portal. These are tributaries. These tiny little branches are tributaries of the left. The left is much thicker. So I'm gonna kind of Adjust my probe to elongate that, breathe. This is my left portal here. All right, and I'm gonna look at my image as a whole. I can see the diaphragm, so I've got as much liver as possible. I see left lobe, right lobe, and then my left portal's in there. Left portal vein. Okay, ligament of teres, left lobe ligament of teres. Again, we're gonna keep moving inferior. So if you find your left portal, and I'm at the left portal, I'm gonna start angling inferior from the left portal, and you'll start to see an echo run up the anterior part. And you wanna freeze when it looks kind of triangular. Some people have a very prominent ligament of teres, others are a little more discreet. Sometimes they're circular, triangular, sometimes they go way off to the left, sometimes they go way off to the right, sometimes they go right in the middle. So if you use your left portal vein as your starting point and angle inferior from your left portal vein, that's gonna be your ligament of teres. Take a deep breath. All right, so here we've got hepatic, caudate, left portal, and herd ligament is very obvious. Can you guys see that here? So this is ligament of teres. It's important you guys can identify that so you don't mistake it as an echogenic mass. Okay, so hers is pretty centrally located. Notice how I can see a little bit of the left portal, but I'm lower than that. Okay, so I angled inferior. I look at my overall image and I can see the diaphragm, left lobe, right lobe. Looks good here. All right, now we're gonna start moving to the right side, and we're gonna do the main portal vein and the porta hepatis. All right, take a deep breath. So here's my hepatics, caudate, left portal, ligament of teres, and to get the main portal, breathe normal. So the left portal is typically pretty transverse, your probe. When you get the main portal and the porta hepatis, the main portal kind of comes at a slight oblique angle. So in order to elongate that main portal, I have to kind of twist my probe at a varying angle. It can't just be transverse if I want to elongate, that main portal. The main portal and the porta hepatis, you're gonna see, take a deep breath. You'll see at the pancreas head area here, okay, right here. See it kind of coming out of the liver? Here's my pancreas, here's my main portal here. All right, if I go to the right side, this is my right portal, and I'm in the right lobe. So for the main and the porta hepatis, I want to see this edge of the liver here. Breathe. So notice how I can see this inferior margin, or kind of like left inferior aspect here. This is my main portal. Now I'm starting to get into my right. Right here is my porta hepatis. Okay, so main portal, you don't want to have liver all the way around it. If you do, you're either in the left portal or the right portal. Okay, so this would be porta hepatis and the main portal vein. Those portals are all at different levels, so you really have to oblique your probe and move it at different levels to elongate it. Okay, you can't be at the same level and see all of the portal system at the same time. All right, next we're gonna do the right portal vein. So now I'm moving over to the right side. I'm kind of losing the left side, and I'm gonna move my probe on the body, and I'm gonna look for the right lobe. Focus a little bit more on the right lobe now. I took a lot of the left side, now I'm gonna do the right. Take a deep breath. You guys did this picture, so it should be pretty familiar to you. Our gallbladder likes to kind of play around with us there. Okay, So on this image, I want you to get as much of the right border as possible. So I want less left lobe, more of the right portal. Let me try a different window and see if that helps. Take a deep breath. So this would be another window here. Her gallbladder's kind of teasing me. I liked coming up a different approach. Breathe. So here's my right portal. Sometimes you'll see that anterior and posterior branch coming off, but I can get all the way to the diaphragm. I'm examining the echogenicity of all that right lobe at the level of the right portal. So see how it's surrounded by liver and it's, you know, traversing through the right side. I feel like you guys did this picture too. Now we're going to go from the right portal vein and I'm going to angle all the way up superior. I'm going to show the superior border of the liver. Then the next image, you're still angled up superior, but I'm going to increase my depth and I'm going to show pleural space in a transverse plane. All right, take a deep breath. So here's my portal. There's hepatics and I go even higher than that. And for this one, I'm gonna really angle up and show as superior as possible on that right side. Superior. Now I'm gonna use the same technique, but I'm gonna increase my depth and try and show all of the right pleural space and the right lobe. I feel like we did this too. Did you guys do this? No? Okay, maybe we did. So notice how I've got more depth. I'm trying to show as much of what's on the right side, the diaphragm here, but I'm still superior. I don't want to be at the level of the gallbladder or the portal vein. And I'll show you what I mean. Take a deep breath. I don't want to be here. Okay, I want to be higher. And even if when I see my hepatics, I'm going to try to angle higher and then compress on this right side to really demonstrate what's to the right. All right, so sometimes you have to crank your gain up a little bit for that. So that is pleural space. I already did that one. Now we've got, I'm gonna move all the way to the right side and we went superior, now we're gonna go inferior. And your kidney is going to be the landmark for the inferior. Take a deep breath. So all the way superior, there's my gallbladder. I'm gonna start angling, there's my portal. I'm gonna start angling inferior to that. I'll come to a different approach there. And I'm gonna go all the way out. This is my inferior tip. I'm gonna come back and this would be my inferior right lobe. I can see a little bit of the kidney there. You see that? So I've gone all the way out and then come back up and show me some of that inferior tip and the kidney should be there. That's why it says right kidney. How are we doing? You guys following?
Yeah.
All right, one person is. One more time, deep breath. Okay, that would have been nice too. I kind of like that one better. All right, breathe. All right, lastly, on this protocol, I'm gonna show you the duct one time, okay? Because we're gonna do it both ways. It's the same technique. So I just have it at the last image under transverse, but I want you to keep in mind whether you're doing the liver, whether you're doing the gallbladder, I always say the duct is the duct is the duct. It's gonna be the same. It doesn't matter where it's listed, the technique that you find it on that person, your angle for that person to elongate it, that's the goal, to take a measurement. So don't get hung up like gotta be sagittal, gotta be transverse. The idea is to be on the duct and to get it elongated. All right, so imagine your probe as the duct. So if I just stay in a sagittal plane or a transverse plane and the porta hepatis is at an angle, I'm gonna be missing most of its view. So you have to find like your Mickey Mouse, or you have to find that porta hepatis, your portal vein is your biggest landmark, and then you have to interrogate the structure above the portal vein and elongate it. So I find there's a few, there's not really a wrong way. You can come intercostal to look for it. You can come subcostal. You can come to the head of the pancreas. You can find the gallbladder. You've got to identify the landmarks that make sense to you. I'm going to show you at the head of the pancreas, just because you guys just did pancreas, and I feel like it's a really easy concept to grasp at that point. And then I'm going to show you intercostal as well. So if we're at the head of the pancreas, we're looking for the portal vein, and then we're going to kind of try to follow it as far distal as far intrahepatic as possible. So the head, think of the head of the pancreas. Take a deep breath. Well, we might not be able to use this window on her because she's kind of gassy here. So I'm looking for this portal vein right here, and then I'm looking right above it. See this little echogenic space? And this is my pancreas head over here. That structure is going to be anterior, but breathe normal. But the concept is you have to figure out, are you on the duct or are you on the hepatic artery? Because the artery is there too, and you don't want to be on the wrong structure. I'm going to come over here intercostal because I feel like she's pretty gassy there, and I'm going to look for my portal vein and go from intrahepatic, more of the common hepatic, and then follow it to as far distal as possible. Take a little breath. All right, wow. I don't know if we've got a good window over here. Okay, so here is my portal. I'm going to be looking in this little space here. Did you have anything to drink?
Yeah.
Okay. So we might not have as much success today. No, but other than water. Did you have like
no.
coffee, tea, caffeine, nothing?
Yeah,
How'd you
struggling
survive?
with
My
breath.
gosh. How'd you survive? Okay, take a little breath. Okay, so I can see her hepatic duct. So I'm right now I'm on this portal vein, kind of Mickey Mouse. See these tiny little dots? Those are the ears. And I'm gonna interrogate that area a little bit for the porta hepatis. Hers is the hepatic duct is really small. I can see this right here. This is the left ear on the screen, and then I'm gonna try to follow it as far distal as possible, which that's not working. All right. Take a breath. Okay, breathe. I'm gonna have you roll on your side. Let's see if those gases,
All the way?
a little bit more, and then scoot back. There we go. Let's see if those gases kind of fall medial there. I'm sorry, you won't be able to see.
know.
You have to roll forward.
Okay.
Okay, take a deep breath. Okay, we can see much better. So, can you guys see what I'm looking at? Okay, so here is my portal vein, and I'm looking right above it here. See this anechoic line here? And my pancreas is over here. So, if they're supine and it's really gassy from all approaches, don't be afraid to decube your patient. I want to say they call this the Kazam view. Like there's a video, it might be online, it's called Kazam. Kazam's like poo, and they like somebody made a video. I think it's Gulf Coast. But if you think of the top of your probe, your notch, towards this right shoulder, okay, that angle, that is typically going to be your angling method of the approacher coming in. But not only is it how you're angled your probe, but then I want you to think of your portal triad. So we've got the duct that's towards the right side, and then we have the artery that's towards the left, and then underneath is your portal vein. So it's kind of like this. Can you guys picture that? So if I'm scanning on top of that, I've got to rock my probe slightly right lateral. when I seat. So you may or may not see the portal elongated when you're rocking your probe looking for the duct. So now that I feel like this is the duct, I'm gonna interrogate it a little more. I'm gonna use some color and see if I can confirm that. Take a deep breath. Okay, so here's my portal. You can see it real nice there. Notice how that structure breathe. This structure never lights up. Let me zoom in. Okay, so here's my IVC. Here's my portal. This is anterior right here, this anechoic structure. This is the edge of the liver. All right, so my pancreas is way over here. But this tube, notice how the more distal I get towards the head of the pancreas, it's larger. The more intrahepatic I go, see how it's narrowing? This is because I'm getting into the hepatic duct here. So this would be a great point here for my measurement for the bile duct, okay? And this would be a great point over here. Typically we're more intrahepatic, but where it's smaller for the hepatic duct. Liver, CHD, and I know we're not doing CHD for the liver protocol, but I'm gonna take it while we have both of them, so you guys can. I'm gonna come back, take a deep breath, turn my color off, look for my portal vein. Here's my portal vein. I'm looking just anterior to that, and I'm kind of rocking my probe. Can you see that anechoic structure? Now I'm gonna put my color box on. I adjusted the box so it wasn't too large. And I'm gonna try to document it as long and wide as possible. Notice how when I have my color on, that structure never lit up. If I was on the artery, that would light up. Okay, so you can see how it's wider as you go distal, as you go more superior. Inside of the liver, it's getting more narrow. So this would be good for bile duct. So the trick on her today would be to actually decube her. And I'm gonna put LLD. Just because that's the position I got it in. So what's the biggest landmark to help you find the duct? Portal vein. So whether it's main portal vein or right portal vein, they're all part of, you know, where that portal triad's going to be. And that is going to take a deep breath. I'm not going to find a little echo here with an anechoic and go, oh, the duct's here. Look at how I can actually see this interstitial space. See how it's bright echoes around it? This is your portal triad area. Okay, it's not going to be way far in the right lobe, way far in the left. It's right going to be hanging around just anterior to the portal vein. And I can even see how, breathe normal. See how the hepatic duct got much smaller there? See how I elongated the hepatic duct? This is the common hepatic. And then the bile duct was bigger here. Okay, so head of the pancreas, portal vein. You can also come intrahepatic on some people. Find your Mickey Mouse sign. Find where you got the right portal, I guess, traversing here. Take a deep breath. If this is my right portal, okay, then I'm going to look anterior to my right portal in this space here. And I'm twisting my probe, rotating it towards that right shoulder, and see how I can elongate it. And that's my duct right there. Oops. All right, you can lay it back on your back. So I highly recommend once you find a structure you think is the duct, then you need to interrogate it more. So put your color on. But in order for color not to frustrate you, you put your color box on and then adjust your color box to kind of the length and the size of the area of interest. You don't want it like this because you're gonna get a lot of noise from everything else around it. So you want to just focus in, you know, I usually will put it about like this. So that way if I'm looking at a structure and it's within there, I'm not making my area of interest too small. So adjust your color box. And then also if your gains are too high, there's gonna be a lot of noise. So then you need to do the scale, the PRF, and decrease the color scale so the gains aren't too high. Okay, and that'll be very helpful. If you use color to take your image, then take it, you know, document it with it. I wanna see that you're utilizing that as a tool to help you confirm that you're actually on the duct, okay? All right.